we're going to talk about daisies. Now, when I say daisies, I mean the proper daisies that kids, it's the flower that a child always draw. You know, the centerpiece and the petals, which are in fact ray florets. But you couldn't say to a child, I want you to draw a daisy with the bigger ray florets and the smaller disc florets in the middle. No, a daisy, in fact, is a compound flower. Each part is a flower in itself. But for talking here, we just call them petals. So the first one we'll talk about is Helenium. I went off Heleniums for about 20 years. Just did. I'm sorry about that, Helenium, and makeup. What can I do to make it good? And the reason why is when I was gardening first, there was a lot of Heleniums in old gardens that were there a long time, and they'd gone a bit wasted and long, and sort of the bottom foliage always goes a bit tatty. And then I realised if occasionally they're lifted and split, and secondly, you can Chelsea chop them. This one was Chelsea chopped. This is the Bishop, and it was about that height 2 months ago, and I brought it down to this height. You can see the cut end there, so it flowered at this height rather than that height, so you don't, all the bad foliage is hidden. Now what you could also do, if you really were a perfectionist, you could Chelsea chop it from really low to higher, so you would not see any stem, you would see flowers almost from the ground. What's good about Heleniums is the way, and this one is starting to go over, and we've had a good 6 weeks out of it. It's the way the sort of disc floret sticks out and the ray ones go back, or the petals go back, and it's just really, really different, unusual. Yeah, that's the yellow. And the other thing about Heleniums, you get lovely bronzy shade. And this one here, dwarf Helenium, and it's been flowering, and the interesting thing about this one is it seems to repeat, because we've got new flowers coming up. Now I can see there's been deadheading going on. Now somebody's been coming out and deadheading behind my back, which I can hardly complain about. But you can see it's called short and sassy, obviously an American variety, short and sassy. And that's Heleniums. And we're going to go on to Helianthus, Helio the sun. And this is Lemon Queen. And one of the best, you see, you don't see it so much in Ireland. I see it a lot in English gardens. It's so easy to grow, to propagate, but you don't see it much in garden centres either, because it grows too tall and it doesn't look great in a pot. But it's a super, very, very easy plant to grow. It will grow actually in a little bit of shade, generally with daisies for sun. Now as I look in here, you have some Crocosmias starting to come out, and this is a Geranium. I think it's psilostemon. And it needed to be tidied up to the old flower stems. The mistake I made, this should have been done in July. If that was done in July, varnished up, and you wouldn't have had a gap. But anyway, better late than never. But this is Lemon Queen. Here we have Morning Sun, which has an extra large disc, which would be regarded as, I think the term is anemone centered. Once again, if I had time, I could do a bit of deadheading, make it flower for a bit longer maybe, but they actually fade when they actually improve. The fadiness improves after a while. Could leave it like that. Now, as I say, we don't have them for sale generally, so if somebody looks for one and they sort of really want it, go around the back. and root around, putting a sack of tares. It's always easy. And this is early September, so it's getting a little late. But there we are, and if you're looking close, you can see the lovely growth next year. And what I would do there, just plant that. I'd plant it straight out, and it will do very little. It might put on a little bit more growth, but this will be getting stronger. And next year you would have maybe 5 stems and good tall plant. And once you have it for once, you have it forever. Well, that's the Heli ones, the Helianthus and the Helenium. But there's a Helenium there, which is not doing. Sorry, there's a Helianthus, which is not doing well. That's the fully double one. Forgot that was there. I think we have it somewhere else much better. The next one we'll go on to, and we can see why, is Rudbeckia. I have to say, this is, I think, everyone's favourite daisy. Rudbeckia Goldsturm. Goldsturm in German, or Goldsturm in English. I think it's actually originally from America. The basic plants from America. So easy. It's so easy. Never gives trouble. Runs a bit at the root, but never runs deep. So it never gets out of hand. It's always controllable. It is just a gem of a plant. Doesn't need to be staked. There's very little wrong, I could say, about that plant. Rudbeckia Goldsturm. It should be in every garden. And now we're going to look at an Aster. More Rudbeckia, and this Aster. And this is Aster Mönch. And it's interesting problem about this Aster. It's, from a garden centre point of view, it's not a good seller. It never presents well in a pot. It always looks a bit scrawny in a pot, but it's probably one of the best perennial plants you can have in your garden. And unlike a lot of asters, it doesn't produce a lot of side growth, so it doesn't get congested very easily. And it flowers for much longer than most asters, and it doesn't get mildew. So that's Aster Mönch. I can hardly, once again, a bit like the Rudbeckia Goldsturm, I can say nothing wrong about this plant. Now we look at some more. Let me see, what else have we got for daisies? Loads more daisies. We'll go looking for daisies.
You've got a butterfly on you.
Yeah. That's allowed. It's like a parrot.
He's gone now.
Pieces of 8. Let's see, what have we got? Oh yes. It's a tiny Aster. Isn't that like a very frothy, sort of falling over? But I think it works. It's a bit damaged at the back. I think somebody was in pulling bits out of it. But it's lovely. It's one of these asters is from North America. It's the wood aster. It's supposed to tolerate more shade than a normal aster. So and it has a larger leaf than normal aster. It's very, very nice. I'll pull up the proper name because I can't remember it. And what else have we got? Daisies. I suppose that's a daisy, Coreopsis. But no, we're not going to talk about that. That's the Pye Weed, which, believe it or not, is a daisy. But we won't talk about that because we're talking about daisies that look like daisies, and anyway, we don't want to disturb all the bees. And there we have goldenrod, which is also a daisy but doesn't look like a daisy. Solidago. Here we have Mönch again. Better clump actually. See how good it is. Absolutely super. The smaller garden, Rudbeckia, little Goldstar. And there's a lot of plants in the trade which promise a lot, and there's a big sort of maybe a promotion when they're started first, they're out for sale, and over time they fade away because they're no good. This one is good. Little Goldstar is good, little dwarf daisy, and it's actually very hard to get that size plant at this time of the year. Most plants want to be that size, but it's very hard to get that, so it's really well worth having. Now, it's a bit of a bully. That's a geranium, which is after getting inside it wallichianum, seeded in from the geranium there. It's related to the geranium rosan, and I think that will have to come out because it is bullying, and we have an anti-bully policy with plants in this garden centre, in this garden. I have to go, even though it's very nice. Have a look at more daisies. That's a Heliopsis, not a Helianthus. I've only got badly eaten by rabbits earlier on, so we don't know. We're going to give it one more year. And this is Aster ericoides, which we Chelsea chopped down here, and it's not in flower yet, but you can see loads of little flower buds. That's going to be really good. Tiny. I've never actually seen this particular variety. You'll find out in about 2 weeks' time. Here we have again the double sunflower, Loddon Gold. They're well worth having. People sometimes think that's a yellow dahlia. Now, dahlia is also, believe it or not, a daisy, but it's not. It's a sunflower. Very, very easy and hard to get. And you can see the way I love to contrast different shapes, the spiky and the round shape, and different colours. One takes off the other. Now, if I had a bit of time, which I don't, I'd nip off some of these. And we'll finish on. Oh, look in here. There's a mistake. I don't mind showing my mistakes. What happened here? We planted this Helenium, and I think this is Moerheim Beauty. And what happened is the persicaria came back. We got rid of the persicaria, but it came back and it started totally bullying it. So we're going to have to do something with that next year. And obviously, you can see Heleniums, they need open situation, or else they go for the sun and fall over. No good. And we finish off. I just want to say, that's, believe it or not, that's a sunflower. That's the willow-leafed sunflower, and it has a tiny little sunflower that looks a bit like ragwort, and it's actually growing for its lovely willowy leaves. And it's, if you have enough space in your garden, if you want to give a bit of impact, it is really good. Lovely. It's a lovely, soft, elegant plant for foliage. And just to finish, I have a daisy plant, which is not a daisy, and I can't just see it over here. I can't resist it. Look at that. That makes me choke up with emotion. That's the artichoke. It's super. It's a thistle. Remember the thistle family, which are also daisies, and that is absolutely beautiful. Now, 10 minutes work would have been handy to get rid of the dead stems and all the faded leaves, and that's a job for next week sometime. Nice, pleasant half-an-hour job. And that's we finished with daisies. Oh, there's a daisy there about to come out, look. And I don't even know what it is. It's an aster of some sort. I wonder what colour it'll be.